Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews. Don't do unboxings, don't do playthroughs anymore, sadly. But today we're going to be looking at a tile laying game. We're going to be looking at Shallow Sea, and in this game you'll be putting tiles onto a board, hoping to connect fish with their habitats in order to give you victory points that will hopefully allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Shallow Sea is worth your time and bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, consider subscribing to this channel, hit the like button, all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. Bollocks. So, Shallow Sea. How'd you play this game? So Shallow Sea is a very, very basic tile laying game, yeah? You're going to do something that you've probably already done in a game called Cascadia. You're going to stick some different coloured fish tokens in the centre of the table. You'll put some coral tiles up above them, and then you'll put some sea life tiles below them, and basically on your turn you're going to do just a couple of easy peasy things. You're going to choose a fish from the display, and then you'll get to choose either a coral tile or a sea life tile from the bottom display, right? You'll then put the fish and the selected tile in your ocean, which is your player board, yeah? Doesn't really matter which order you do. You can put the fish on first, or you can put the tile on first. It's up to you. They must be placed front side up, so you can't put the completed side down first, obviously, because you haven't fucking completed it yet, have you? And they must be placed adjacent to a tile that already exists in your ocean. Also get to rotate the tile in any direction, so you could put a yellow on a yellow if you wanted. Fish, on the other hand, have to go on one of them little bubble things that are around the tile spaces, yeah? Just chuck them on there, and they'll be like fucking bubblicious, won't they? So once you've done that, if any of the tiles on your board have met the scoring condition, then you're going to flip them over and score them, right? A coral tile is completed when all the different coloured sides have fish of that colour on them. You'll take a fish off of the board, flip the tile over, and you'll stick that fish on that coral, yeah? And as a reward, you will gain a fucking seashell, just like the one at a Demolition Man.
You got this little shelf with 3 seashells on it.
Completing a sea life tile, on the other hand, is a little bit more complicated, but not really. There's loads of different sea life tiles for you to complete. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you might see ones with some arrows going off to one side, and it will tell you that you need to have fish that are the same colour or maybe like a different colour going off in those directions for that number of tiles, right? So if you've got 2 arrows going off in the northwest or northeast, then you'll have to have 2, say, red fish on 2 tiles going that way, right? You flip the tile over and you will gain that many points, and you'll get a seashell for that, yeah? You can use seashells for a number of different things. You can give out a seashell to refresh one of the 3 pools, like the fish, the coral tiles, or the sea life tiles. You can spend a seashell to choose which tile you want by not being bound by the fish that you choose, right? And you can also spend 2 seashells to move an incomplete fish. So if you've got a red fish over here and you want it to complete something over here, you spend 2 seashells to pick it up and dump it in front of a fucking Norwegian trawler, right? So you keep doing this until each player has got 4 empty spaces left on their board, and then you do a little bit of final scoring, right? You'll score an ecosystem card at the beginning of the game. You're going to draw 2, or if you're using the expansion, then you'll only have 1. You'll score victory points for all the tiles you completed and some of the incomplete ones that you didn't complete. 2 victory points for each different sea life tile that you completed, and 1 victory point for each incomplete fish adjacent to a completed coral tile, right? Little word about the expansion, right? There's an expansion for this called Feeding Grounds or something. Basically, it gives you more shit. You got a sideboard with some extra scoring opportunities, so it might be the first player to do this will be able to put one of their turtles on the highest scoring spot, and then the second player to do that will put it on the second one. There's 3 of these. They're all random. There's shitloads of them, and it just adds even more scoring opportunities to a game that provides a plethora of scoring opportunities. So when that is over, the player with the most victory points will be the winner of Shallow Sea. So what do we like about Shallow Sea? So the first thing that we like about this is the insane amount of variety. I mean, there's like 3 fucking trays of different tiles that you can fuck about with. If you've got the expansion, it's going to add even more into the mix. So you're going to choose a number of these dependent on the player count, dump them in a bag, and then you're going to draw them out randomly, right? There are so many different types of tiles in this game, I've kind of lost count. I mean, because of this, each game is going to be completely different. Yeah, there's no one overriding strategy, aside from maybe putting your sea life tiles in the best position, usually the center, I would imagine, depending on what it is, of course. Yeah, there's no real one strategy that you're going to be able to use to win this game. You're going to have to adapt, yeah. And I suppose this does favour players that have played the game multiple times, but then again, if you haven't played it multiple times, then that's on you, innit? Pull your finger out your fucking arsehole and get on it. So the second thing that we quite like about this is that this is yet another stunning production from Bad Comet, yeah. This looks absolutely fucking fantastic. The ocean tile is a little bit bland, then after a few turns it comes to life, brimming with colour. The fish tokens a little bit fiddly, but they're functional, they're really nice. And you've got the obligatory silk style bags that are going to be used to hold all the fish and all that, yeah. So I can't fault the production, the artwork's fucking fantastic. Bad Comet hit the ball out of the park yet again with their stunning production values. So the final thing that we really like about this is the way the game makes each tile have various permutations based on where you place it, yeah. You can rotate the tile any which way you want, so you can match up certain colours that are going to allow you to utilise fish twice, for instance, yeah. But you can set it up so that, assuming that the tile that you want or the fish that you want stays in the market, you can set it up so that on your next turn, once you've taken that fish away, you can place another fish there to score another tile, yeah. It's a very, very clever design. It is a bit of a brain burner, yeah. So if you're looking for something that doesn't make your head implode after being fooled by the very, very simple mechanics, then probably avoid this one. But for me, I quite enjoy that mind-numbing sensation where you're sort of juggling loads of things in your brain at once, right? Don't we like that shallow sea? So the first thing that we don't like about it is that towards the end of the game, you kind of know when you have lost, yeah, and that means that the final couple of turns are largely inconsequential, both for the players that know that they're far behind or that they've lost, or even for the player that is far ahead, because they're thinking, doesn't really matter what I do now because I know I've spanked my opponent's asses with a proverbial baking tray. So yeah, there's not really any kind of surprises at the end of this. Every game we played of this has led to me either celebrating my win early or just shrugging my shoulders and go, it's a fucking lost cause, yeah. So really this game only exists in my mind for the first 2/3, dependent on where you are towards the end, dictates your mood at the end. So the final thing, and the biggest pain in the ass about this game, is when you are done putting all the tiles back into their respective slots in the trays, is one of the biggest pains in the arse I have experienced in a long while, yeah. If you look at the tiles, yeah, they've all got little codes on. The rulebook does give you a guide as to how to pull these out, and putting them back into their little slots means you're going to have to sort them out into A1, A2, A3, B3, B7 on all that sort of thing, stack them all up and then put them back individually. And the code is in white, so it's very difficult to see. At my venerable age, I was pulling what's left of my hair out of my fucking head trying to sort this shit out, yeah. For a very simple short game, the amount of effort you've got to go to pack it away so that it's ready for the next one is it's a fucking ball ache. So to summarise, is Shallow Sea worth your time and bother today and in the future? We're going to say maybe, maybe not. Shallow Sea is a decent game, yeah? It offers a decent brain-burning experience contained within yet another lavish production from Bad Comet. It just doesn't hit the heights of their other offerings like Life of the Amazonia or Wondrous Creatures. The expansion is functional. It adds some extra scoring opportunities, but it doesn't really add that much more. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it could have added a little bit more complexity, but then I suppose this game's up against other similar stuff like Cascadia and Harmonies and all that, so it didn't want to push the boat out too far, no pun included. Because of this, I suppose, you know, it's just an average game, isn't it? You're either going to like it or you're not. There's not really much in here to grab people's attention. I think it's going to sort of just sail on by, spring a leak and sink to the bottom of the seabed in the same time that it took to appear on the shelf. So there you go, that is a Shallow Sea. Remember, if you're new here, then consider subscribing to the channel. If you're already subscribed, then go and fucking eat a scone, not a scone, and we'll see you next time.